Hello, welcome back. We are on day 1 of the 40 hours in 7 days language challenge. So it is Monday evening, and today I have done so-so. I did make a plan for this week, shockingly. My plan is kind of just keep it really simple to every day study German, study Spanish for at least some amount of time, read German webtoons, read a short book in Spanish. So I'm trying to combine this with reading 7 books in 7 days. So just super short books, watch a movie or maybe a show if I don't have time to watch a movie. So I do have a little library compiled here of possibilities for books, movies, and webtoons to keep myself going. My plan for today was actually to read this book that I have physically, but I didn't end up having time this afternoon. Well, technically I had the time, but I didn't spend the time well. I just didn't have the focus, like, in my breaks between classes to actually read. So, I opted instead to listen to an audiobook, and it is turning out to be like the most tragic audiobook that I've ever listened to, maybe. So that maybe backfired a little bit, but I have about 40 minutes left to go, 30 minutes left to go in that, so I need to finish that, and then watch something. I am all showered, teeth brushed, as you can see, clearly cozy, ready to settle in. So although, I have only like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of like good time left, we're gonna try to use that wisely. Hello, day number 2. So today at school was like one of those days, that meme where it's like, I need to go into the forest because what the fuck was that, or something like that. That's how today's school day was. So I feel like I need like a padded, not a padded room, but I need like a soundproofed room to just like exist in. But anyway, I did read just like 15 minutes of this book on break, so I'm going to continue that. And yeah. Hello, welcome back. We are undoubtedly extremely behind. It is Thursday night, and we are currently at 13 and a half hours. If we were on track, we would be at 20, almost 23, 22.8. So, we're gonna ignore that. I do still have time today. I actually am gonna try to stay up until after midnight because I'm trying to get a bureaucratic appointment scheduled, and I keep not being able to find any. And there's all kinds of different things that people say about when they release appointments, and one of the things that they say is midnight. And so, we can try it. Theoretically, I think we are perfectly capable of catching up. But even if not, it has been a good... We got the zoomies. But it has been a good week still, even without like making the time. As I said, my goals were pretty much to study German, study Spanish, read German, read Spanish, and watch a movie or something every day. And we've almost kept up with that. I am actually on track with the books. I haven't finished one yet today, but I have started it. So we have read 3 books in 3 days, and then 4 once we finish today. So I do think that I want to just take a shower, get ready for bed. It's only 7:45, but might as well just get comfy and get settled in. And then we can keep going. I forgot to keep updating in the middle of updating about how everything was going, and then I just stopped. But I haven't studied German every day but I did like 2 of the days, I think. Or no, maybe it was 3. I'll put it here. But regardless, I definitely missed one day, but more than I was doing before because I was really out of the active study practice mode. And I have done stuff for my Spanish study every day, so that's good. Yeah, I definitely haven't been getting as much German as I wanted, but hopefully now that we're moving into like having free time on the rest of the days, that will get done. Of course, because that's just the way that life goes. This happened to be like the craziest school week that I've had all year so far. I don't know what got into the water of the kids or whatever, but they were bonkers this week. So it was like every day I have felt like I just needed to like touch grass after school, so that has not been conducive to focused time, but we've been trying to make it work nonetheless, so I will touch base later. Hello. So it is Friday night. I have not caught up, not at all, but I have been doing things. I just have been really bad about passive things. Like I can't focus on them no matter what. So I just have only mostly been doing active things. And obviously that is much more difficult to get time in. So I wanted to give kind of a summary on the books that I've read because I have kept up with the books. I have read 5 books at this point, tiny ones. So the first one was La Casa de la Belleza. This one, from the description, you would never know that it is as traumatizing as it is. Super, super violent. Like, would highly recommend looking at trigger warnings for this book because it has a lot of things. So I didn't actually end up liking this. I like the idea of it. It was telling the story of this girl who disappeared, and the last place that she was seen allegedly was at this beauty salon. And so you're like hearing from several different people involved, including the girl. Maybe there was a lot of like nuance that I missed out on to make me understand why we were hearing from the perspectives that we were hearing from, because I'm not like part of the culture that it's talking about. But for me, it was a miss, but not terrible. Then I read La Bastarda, which is a short novel by an author from Equatorial Guinea, a novel about a young girl who is kind of discovering that she is a lesbian, and she's growing up in the Fang culture in Equatorial Guinea, and she is also illegitimate child or whatever. And so there's all kinds of layers of marginalization that she is facing, but she kind of discovers a group of people who are kindred spirits. And so it was an endearing story. I don't think it was the most amazing writing that I've ever read. I think I did not find it super engaging on that level, but I did still enjoy the story and learning more about that country. Obviously it's not like the most flattering portrait, but every country has, every society, every culture has sides like that to it. So I think it was, it was a good read. Then I listened to Gaston, which, to be honest, I did not get at all. Like, I don't even feel like I can tell you about this at all. The reviews were talking about how hilarious this was. I didn't get it. Then I listened to a nonfiction essay called El Ojo de la Casa, and this is supposed to be about the television and about the way that I don't even know what it was supposed to be about, because honestly it was about nothing. It was about nothing. The description I thought sounded vaguely interesting, although I was kind of afraid it was going to be like the television destroyed society or whatever, but it wasn't. It was about nothing at all. The lady it seems interesting, nice enough. She's from Colombia, and she talked about her experience with the television growing up, moving on to like Netflix and stuff like that. But honestly, got nothing out of this. Then I read Cramp, and I read this over 2 days because it's not longer, but I was enjoying it and I didn't want to force myself to finish it. And so I finished it today, and this is my favorite so far. Loved this. I can't decide whether to say something, so I won't say it, but I went in knowing nothing about this book, other than that you're following a young girl who is following her father, as he's like a traveling salesman. I didn't look into or think at all about the context of where they are and the time period that they are. Yeah, I would like to read it again and get those little hints that were dropped throughout. But if you want to go in without knowing anything, then I will let you not look that up. But anyway, so you are following this young girl and her dad as they have a very non-traditional relationship, and she basically just doesn't go to school and goes with him to sell things. And so it starts out very whimsical, funny, but it becomes more of a coming of age story. And again, the socio-political context becomes a lot more relevant as the story progresses. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this, liked it a lot. So that's where we're at on the books. I have also watched 3 movies so far, and I want to watch another one tonight. One I really liked, 2 I did not like at all. Some of the worst movies that I've watched this year. So, there's highs and lows, but we're getting there. So yeah, that's where we're at. I will check in again later. Okay, so Saturday. I have been planning to go to Murcia to go to some museums for several weeks, and I haven't had enough gumption, enough get up and go in the morning. So today I finally did it, and so I went to the something Santa Clara Museum, which is mostly just the building is really cool. There's a couple small exhibits of pottery and stuff like that, but mostly the building is just really nice. And then I went to the Fine Art Museum, which was really cute. This small, not a ton to see, but it's free. Both of them were free, and so it's definitely worth the stop if you're close. I really liked the temporary exhibit, Saura Mira, maybe? But anyway, it was really beautiful. Did a tiny bit of looking around some shops. Got a bowl for ramen because for some reason my apartment doesn't have any normal bowls. So yeah, that was about it. Listened to a lot of podcasts on the way there and walking around, and then got really overstimulated and had a bad headache. So I've been taking a break from listening to things for a minute. I am halfway through an audiobook. I decided to listen to another audiobook listen to an audiobook by the author of Cramp, which I just read. So I've been listening to El Hombre del Cartel, I think, which is not about cartels. It's about a man who decides to live under a billboard thing. And once again, we're in the perspective of a child in his life. And so that's been good. I just did a conversation class for an hour. So yeah, I'm gonna shower and get settled in to finish a movie, probably get some more input in. Hopefully my headache is, dissipating. If not, it's gonna be a struggle to get more hours in. But yeah, definitely not making the 40 hours at this point unless a miracle happens, but I think we can still finish strong. I think we can get it. Hello. We are in Sunday afternoon. Predictably, things are still not going to plan. So the new goal is theoretically 35 hours. Not sure if I'm even going to make that, to be honest. So I watched a movie earlier, which I really liked. It was very graphic, but it was very interesting. It's called 40hr or something like that. It's a German animated movie from 1994, I think. And it was super interesting, very interesting themes.
So now I have taken myself out on a walk. I'm trying to finish my audiobook, but to be honest, my focus is just trash, so I don't know if I want to like waste the audiobook.
Hello. So, obviously, I am not in my usual location. I am cat sitting. I still need to give the final update for this challenge, so it is several days later. And my final total for the week was 34 hours and 17 minutes. My highest amount of time was spent listening in Spanish, as per usual, 18 hours and 50 minutes. I think second highest was reading in Spanish with 3 hours and 20 minutes. And that doesn't include like listening and reading at the same time. That would just be reading. I did only end up getting about 5.5 hours of German, which is less. I was hoping to get 10. Not really close at all, but it's more than I had been doing before, I guess. And that was kind of the theme of the whole week, to be honest. As I mentioned, it was kind of a weird week in general. And then specifically just with not being able to do really very much passive input. This is, I think, the most difficult it has felt to get the time in, even though it's not, the most time I've gotten in the challenge by far. It just every day felt kind of like a struggle. Not even a struggle, it was just like I was having to be extremely aware of every thing that I did, trying to get more time in. And that's not always how it feels. Like maybe there will be a day or two like that, but normally it's not like the whole week. So in that way, it definitely wasn't like the most enjoyable 40 hours and 7 days challenge that I've done. But I think it was good to help me do more than I had been doing. And like the whole time I've been learning languages, passive input has really kind of dominated my time, and I don't have any problem with that. But I think I just kind of assumed that it would always be that way, and it just doesn't seem like right now, for the past like couple months, even really, that has necessarily been the case. Just like I always assume that that's going to be the case, but then sometimes I just really can't focus on that. And so I'm still getting input, it's just more of the time that I'm actually like sitting there, either physically reading or listening to an audiobook and only like playing a game or something, not like multitasking or watching a movie, watching a show, doing a lot less multitasking, doing a lot less listening while I'm on my commute and stuff like that, because right now I just don't seem to have the brain power to do that. So yeah, it was an interesting experience because it was so different from my usual. Even though if you look at what I did, it wasn't necessarily like that wildly different, other than a lot less, podcasts and YouTube listening than it maybe ordinarily would have been. So yeah, if you did the challenge, definitely let me know how it went. Check out Tanya Benavente's channel because she was co-hosting the challenge here with me, and I will see you in the next video.